free course AWS Cloud Practitioner. Lesson 1, Cloud Concepts Overview. In this lesson we will look at the following concepts. 1. What is cloud computing? 2. Cloud computing versus traditional computing. 3. Cloud service models. 4. Cloud computing deployment models. 5. 6 advantages of cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, database, storage, applications, and other IT resources through a cloud services platform via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. A cloud services platform provides rapid access to flexible and low-cost IT resources. With cloud computing, you don't need to make large upfront investments in hardware and spend a lot of time on the heavy lifting of managing that hardware. Instead, you can provision exactly the right type and size of computing resources you need to power your newest bright idea or operate your IT department. You can access as many resources as you need, almost instantly, and only pay for what you use. A cloud services platform such as Amazon Web Services owns and maintains the network-connected hardware required for these application services, while you provision and use what you need via a web application. Traditional computing model. Traditional computing merely refers to the concept of physical data centers and the dependence of the businesses that use these data centers for the sake of storing their digital assets and running a complete networking system for their day-to-day operations. In the traditional computing model, infrastructure is thought of as hardware. Hardware solutions are physical, which means they require space, staff, physical security, planning, and capital expenditure. These data centers are lackluster in plenty of ways as compared with the cloud computing technology, such as they require consistent updates to maintain an upstream of latest security metrics, and often hardware-related issues also persist. In addition to significant upfront investment, another prohibitive aspect of traditional computing is the long hardware procurement cycle that involves acquiring, provisioning, and maintaining on-premises infrastructure. With a hardware solution, you must ask if there is enough resource capacity or sufficient storage to meet your needs, and you provision capacity by guessing theoretical maximum peaks. If you don't meet your projected maximum peak, then you pay for expensive resources that stay idle. If you exceed your projected maximum peak, then you don't have sufficient capacity to meet your needs. And if your needs change, then you must spend the time, effort, and money required to implement a new solution. Cloud computing model. Cloud technology has relatively taken the concept of computing to a whole new level. Many businesses have shifted their computing resources from traditional to cloud computing. Nowadays it is relatively hard to come by a company that is not backed by cloud protection and has its data reserved over to the secured servers as provided by the cloud. The idea behind cloud computing is simple: it is cost-effective, scalable, cover large ground as compared to traditional computing, and is much more efficient compared to any other computing infrastructure whatsoever. Cloud computing enables you to think of your infrastructure as software. Software solutions are flexible. You can select the cloud services that best match your needs, provision and terminate those resources on demand, and pay for what you use. You can elastically scale resources up and down in an automated fashion. With the cloud computing model, you can treat resources as temporary and disposable. The flexibility that cloud computing offers enables businesses to implement new solutions quickly and with low upfront costs. Compared to hardware solutions, software solutions can change much more quickly, easily, and cost-effectively. Cloud computing helps developers and IT departments avoid undifferentiated work like procurement, maintenance, and capacity planning, thus enabling them to focus on what matters most. Cloud computing versus traditional computing. Cloud computing is less expensive as compared to traditional computing. And what makes it so cost-effective? As the maintenance and operation of the server is distributed among several different parties. The investment cost incurred by companies will be reduced as they can eliminate buying expensive equipment. Automation is the true essence of success in any business. If you have the capacity to automate much of your processes without any human input, then you have already achieved the right path to success. Automation brings in the comfort of consistency, timely up-gradation, security, cost-effectiveness, and over-the-clock smoothly running operations. Cloud computing has everything running smoothly and being controlled by the cloud providers, which means over-the-clock chances for automation, scaling up and down as you see fit, and fewer costs incurred. Cloud computing is resistant and scalable, since the data stored in cloud is distributed among many servers, so even if the server breaks, your business won't lose the confidential information. The computing power is more in cloud as it offers more storage and servers. Eventually all this will make your applications and software run very efficiently and smoothly. Cloud service models. There are three main cloud service models. Each model represents a different part of the cloud computing stack and gives you a different level of control over your IT resources, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Infrastructure as a Service, IaaS. Infrastructure as a Service contains the basic building blocks for cloud IT, information technology, and typically provides access to networking features, computers, virtual or on dedicated hardware, and data storage space. IaaS provides you with the highest level of flexibility and management control over your IT resources and is most similar to existing IT resources that many IT departments and developers are familiar with today. While IaaS gives you virtualized resources such as servers, disks, networks, and IP addresses, you are still responsible for administering the operating system, data, applications, middleware, and runtimes. A dashboard or an API gives you complete control over the entire infrastructure. Platform as a Service, PaaS. Platform as a Service removes the need for your organization to manage the underlying infrastructure, usually hardware and operating systems, and allows you to focus on the deployment and management of your applications. This helps you be more efficient as you don't need to worry about resource procurement, capacity planning, software maintenance, patching, or any of the other undifferentiated heavy lifting involved in running your application. You get a platform with built-in software components for both hardware and software such as runtime libraries, tools, applications, email, and HTTP servers. This allows developers to rapidly develop, run, and manage their own apps without having to build and maintain the infrastructure or platform usually associated with the process. Software as a Service, SaaS. As the name suggests, here the third-party providers provide end-user applications to their customers with some administrative capability at the application level, such as the ability to create and manage their users. With Software as a Service, SaaS, you trade off loss of control, security, and performance in exchange for time and maintenance savings. Software as a Service provides you with a completed product that is run and managed by the service provider. In most cases, people referring to software as a service are referring to end-user applications. With a SaaS offering, you do not have to think about how the service is maintained or how the underlying infrastructure is managed. You only need to think about how you will use that particular piece of software. A common example of a software as a service application is web-based email, which you can use to send and receive email without having to manage feature additions to the email product or maintain the servers and operating systems that the email program is running on. Cloud computing deployment models. A cloud deployment model signifies a specific cloud environment based on who controls security, who has permissions, and whether resources are shared or dedicated. It describes how your cloud infrastructure will look, how much you can change, and whether you will be provided with services or not. Cloud deployment types also represent the connections between the infrastructure and your users. Because each cloud deployment model can meet different organizational needs, you should select the model that best fits your institution's methodology. The three cloud computing deployment models are as follows. Public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. Deployment model, public cloud. A cloud-based application is fully deployed in the cloud and all parts of the application run in the cloud. Applications in the cloud have either been created in the cloud or have been migrated from an existing infrastructure to take advantage of the benefits of cloud computing. Cloud-based applications can be built on low-level infrastructure pieces or can use higher-level services that provide abstraction from the management, architecting, and scaling requirements of core infrastructure. As a result, you pay a cloud service provider for networking, computing, virtualization, and storage accessible via the public internet. It is also an excellent delivery model for development and testing teams. Its quick and simple configuration and deployment make it ideal for test environments. Deployment model, hybrid. A hybrid cloud deployment model combines public and private clouds. A hybrid cloud is one in which a company uses the public cloud while also owning on-premises systems and has a connection between the two. They function as a single system. This is a useful model because it allows for a more gradual transition into the public cloud. Due to security or data protection concerns, some businesses cannot operate solely in the public cloud. To address this issue, they may opt for a hybrid cloud, which combines the requirements with the benefits of a public cloud. Deployment model, private. The deployment of resources on premises, or private, using virtualization and resource management tools, is sometimes called the private cloud. On-premises deployment doesn't provide many of the benefits of cloud computing but is sometimes sought for its ability to provide dedicated resources. In most cases this deployment model is the same as legacy IT infrastructure while using application management and virtualization technologies to try and increase resource utilization. The private cloud allows for greater control over cloud resources. The public cloud deployment model is the opposite of the private cloud deployment model. It is a one-on-one setting for a single user. It is not essential to share your hardware with anyone. 6 Advantages of cloud computing. Trade fixed expense for variable expense. Instead of having to invest heavily in data centers and servers before you know how you're going to use them, you can pay only when you consume computing resources, and pay only for how much you consume. Benefit from massive economies of scale. By using cloud computing, you can achieve a lower variable cost than you can get on your own. Because usage from hundreds of thousands of customers is aggregated in the cloud, providers such as AWS can achieve higher economies of scale, which translates into lower pay-as-you-go prices. Stop guessing capacity. Eliminate guessing on your infrastructure capacity needs. When you make a capacity decision prior to deploying an application, you often end up either sitting on expensive idle resources or dealing with limited capacity. With cloud computing, these problems go away. You can access as much or as little capacity as you need, and scale up and down as required with only a few minutes' notice. Increase speed and agility. In a cloud computing environment, new IT resources are only a click away, which means that you reduce the time to make those resources available to your developers from weeks to just minutes. This results in a dramatic increase in agility for the organization, since the cost and time it takes to experiment and develop is significantly lower. Stop spending money running and maintaining data centers. Focus on projects that differentiate your business, not the infrastructure. Cloud computing lets you focus on your own customers, rather than on the heavy lifting of racking, stacking, and powering servers. Go global in minutes. Easily deploy your application in multiple regions around the world with just a few clicks. This means you can provide lower latency and a better experience for your customers at minimal cost.